Yes.
Alright, we're live. The sound.
Go?
Yep.
Okay. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Streets and Bridges Committee meeting. And I'm going to have a roll call tonight. It'll be Carrie Davis.
I'm here.
And Ken Biden. Paula Durbin is not here this evening. Also in attendance is Merrill Larry, Council President Eric Weber, and Nikki Ward, Service Director. Thank you for being here. Also, I'll need an approval to just take a motion or to accept Paul Durbin's not going to be here tonight, so I can't remember the word.
I will make the motion to excuse Paula from our meeting
Okay,
tonight.
I'll second that.
And I will also make a motion to approve the previous minutes from March 10th.
Okay, and I will second that.
And I will make a motion for the approval of the agenda as published.
Second that also. And we have two items of discussion tonight. ODOT salt contract and preliminary paving, that's what we need to look over. So, will Tom or Nikki take that over?
On the salt contract, you probably have more info, don't you?
It's the annual contract with ODOT. I think this year we contracted for 900 tons.
Okay.
So they'll bid it for us and then we'll receive notification of what the bid price is
Okay.
in May-ish.
Okay, I believe they, buy the best price available, everybody gets that, okay?
I think it's due April 29th. Is when it's due.
Now, do we have to approve any of that?
There's an ordinance there,
Okay.
sent on the full council.
So we just do make the motion.
Yeah, just like a motion to send to the full council.
So I will make the motion to send ordinance number 2022-32 to full council meeting.
I'll second that. And second item on the agenda tonight is a preliminary paving list, which I just looked at. And I can see it was going to be a hard thing to pick out what really needs it. Am I correct, Tom?
Well, there are a couple streets that are notably missing, but this really came from the service department, and we didn't make many changes at all. But if I could, I'd want to start by pointing out a couple things and we'll get to the list. Right now, the street department budget, Fund 201, has more expenditures than there is revenue. So we'll pick that up and talk about that at the Finance Committee meeting, but I wanted to make this group aware. It's about $60,000, $68,000. And the place to look, if you want to look at it later, is on page 7 of the revenue report. It has the grand total. It starts before that a little bit. It has all the revenue that goes into 201. Okay. So I just mentioned that near the bottom of that, there's a $500,000 transfer. Okay. That transfer comes from the general fund. And that is, I'm in the habit of saying if there's a lot of zeros, that maybe says there wasn't any detailed analysis of why 500,000 was needed. So one of the ways that you could correct revenue and expenditures is to transfer some more money from the general fund. If you go back a few years, this 500,000 is as low as I can remember. I'm sure there were a while back, but that's an annual transfer. It goes to what we're going to talk about in a minute, but it also goes to fund, I don't know, 35%. I'm just wagging this, just guessing on, of the service department budget is 201 budget. So in that neighborhood, so a fair amount of the service department is funded through this transfer. And then while I'm on the subject, the other two sources worth noting is gas tax. And that is kind of on budget. That's about $570 on that same budget. And then there another large source of income is the notes that we borrowed money to put in the Keller Drive extension. And seems to me there's one other project in those notes, but I'm drawing a blank there. But that's where the revenue's coming from. The revenue, there'll be an ordinance coming through pretty soon about borrowing over the next year. There was a quote, it's a little off the topic, but there's a quote at 1.5% for the money. It's about $2 million in total that we borrow. 46,000 is money borrowed right here. Okay, so that's on the spending, or the revenue side. On the spending side, I'll try to make this quick and carry it's 1.9 million. So that's where you get that. There's less revenue coming in than we have appropriated. So that's going to have to be tweaked. One way is to transfer more money in on that transfer item. Another way is to not spend all of the money that is in this budget for infrastructure. Okay, so that's, I hope that's making sense, and it sort of operates as a background. Next thing I'll say before we get in, you can ask questions about this, is that in 2021, the license plate tax, we did our paving and did not use the license plate tax. So there's about $200,000 in there that was collected last year and not spent. There'll be around 200, or it's actually 218,000 last year. And people have, this is one time when licensed cars on people's property is a good thing. We get $5 or $20 out of that. But anyway, it's about 218,000. So all coming to this sheet that rolls up to around $500,000. What I'm suggesting is we can fund all of this by using last year's license plate money and this year's license plate money. And a portion of the $307,000 that's on the, try to find it here for a second, it's in the spending side of the street department budget for infrastructure. It's on page 20 of 62. You'll see 307. So, I haven't said all that. What I think we can do is, what I prefer to do is reduce the spending in that 307. I think once we start, the easiest answer of all is, well, there's $7 million in the general fund, we'll just go ahead and borrow a little bit of that. I don't think that's probably the smarter way to go. So what I want you to consider is being ready to see that infrastructure number reduced a little bit so it balances. I think it's 62,000. Is that right? 68,000. I apologize. See, it's less than 70 that there's more spending authorized than revenue. So I'm saying we should cut that a little bit. Have $100,000 to go with the 203 money and fund about $500,000 of these streets as sort of candidate streets. So that's trying to explain both where I think the revenue will come from, the fact that we don't have quite as much revenue as we had thought we could spend last year, and the preferred solution is not to just increase the transfer from the general fund, but to reduce some of the spending. So.
And do we think that the license plate fund
Yeah.
for this year, do you think that will equal almost what last year?
Yeah, I don't see anybody selling cars. They're probably buying them. You know, it just seems like it grows a little bit. So you can think of your favorite neighborhood or relative that's got 4 or 5 cars and thank them for their $20. 8, so there you go. I mean, so just keep on buying $20. You're investing in all of these streets.
I have one.
Yeah.
My son has one, my niece has one, my husband has one.
Tom?
I know what you mean. So,
In
yeah.
reality, how many of these do you think we'd be able to do? The whole?
Okay, so, yes.
It looks good though.
Okay, so that's
Yeah.
at the very bottom, I think we got it's 462. And then these streets on the back are kind of, I don't know, I don't think I think they make sense, and take a look at them, and we can come back.
That's about another 40,000 back there.
Yeah, and that gets you to 500,000, and I think I
Yeah.
think between license and, the money that's in the street department budget, that's a pretty good number.
On this South Street,
Yeah.
on the South Street, that 200, that was a concrete road.
Well, that's what we're proposing, so
I
that's
think
a
that's
good,
the wise way to go compared to asphalt. It really is. That road's holding up well on.
yeah, go out and drive that, where we're talking about. We got to Wood Street 2 years ago, year ago, I can't quite, coming down South Street, we got to Wood, and I'm like, wow, this is just milling off a couple of inches in overlay mill and fill. That is not gonna last very long. So we put it off, and so it's reappeared. And that's the estimate. You wouldn't have to go to Richardson Street, but if you lived on South Street between Dawson Avenue, where I thought you could stop, and Richardson, you'd think, well, what did I do wrong? But that estimate goes from Wood to Richardson.
There's a lot of weight traffic on there with trucks between Covert's building on Parsons. It comes out to South Street and then down, so.
Yeah, it got a lot of use that year and a half, 2 years that it was a warehouse for Next Gen.
Yeah.
And of course, Kurtzman runs a trucking operation out of there.
Other truck.
What's Beck's company? What's that? GMC?
GMC, yeah.
A lot of trucks in there, and then of course the Willie, that operation. I'm just gonna stop because people watch this and they'll hear me.
Well, most of GMC trucking trucks are empty when they come in, when they
Yeah.
go back out, but Kurtzman's hauling the bulk of everything. It's
Right.
his business.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's what we're recommending. It's a big chunk. I would say let it ride if we don't think we can fix it. But I think, this what I'm saying is there's money to afford all of this.
For another year, it's not gonna be any better shape, that's for sure.
No, and I'm against fixing it wrong.
No,
I'd rather chip seal it.
like fixing a car.
Yeah, and he'll be back next year. It drives off the lot. It's like, well, this guy will be back next year. Or not next year, but whatever. Next week, yeah. See, what else can I say? Oh, the cut list, if there is such a thing, 2 projects that there was a fair amount of discussion over, and would probably be a belly buster, is the market from the tracks. So think Moose out to the Boston T. That's a pretty, that will move its way to the top of the list. But it isn't there. And then there's another section that you could, if you think, remember Henry Street got done last year. You come up to the corner, the turn at Henry, when it becomes John Street, from John to Homer Mackey, where John, that short section. That's not on here, but you'll notice that both Mackey and Homer all the way up to Westwood, and then around the corner to Clymer. There's a stormwater project that will pick up in the process of this, but I encourage you to go out there and drive on. Fellow Street. It's just gotten deferred. And there's probably no good reason. Pretty soon we'll just be able to, it's gotten in really bad shape. But I've been the guy who said, you know, cut it when you, I guess, 12-4. I should say, I'm not gonna say anything else about it.
Will all these be done relatively the same time, or?
Yeah, we'll sell them all at the same time, and that's probably a good question, and we'll probably get to that. I do fellow, but the neighbors would love it, but some of the neighbors might catch hell over it. So I don't know, I can't, somebody yelled at me for, he agreed with what I said the other day, but how I said it upset him.
Well, that's been included in the price that we need to spend.
Yeah, it's on there, on that $500,000
Yeah.
total, that's what. And the other one was Homer. I'm not sure how it shows there. Homer, I think Matt maybe sent to Julie a little bit different. If you think in your minds that Homer and Mackey come off like prongs on a fork off of the end of John Street, and then Homer continues and then hits Westwood. I didn't drive it, but I guess Mackey is in worse shape than Homer. So you gotta know what is wrong with these guys? And so you can see it's $4,500 to do Mackey. It's probably a good idea. The other thing I would say is go out and drive John Street. I mean, you heard the overall explanation. We don't have a number, sort of a rough estimate on that, but there's some logic to completing that. From Portland Way to Henry, or, you know, from Portland Way up Henry to the corner, and then you complete that, and then that section all the way to Westwood and Clymer, that would all get paved instead of, you know, block by block. So that's what I have to say on that. Let me see, the rest of it that's also true of them, and I'm not sure if we're getting somewhere in terms of the paving program a little bit, but you would see in other years where it says all, that would be from this section to that section. So I think we're getting better in terms of being able to complete neighborhoods. So I also think for people who may call you or questions you may have, that the addition of those last year paved, I think that gives you an idea of what we're looking at without having to go out and drive out there in that Cheshire neighborhood. But anyways.
They put a cost on John Street.
No, I don't know how many feet. But we'll see how good I am at guessing this. I bet it's 12 to 15,000, right in that range.
Well, we only did about 8 or 10 streets last year, so this is quite a project.
Yeah, there are a bunch of them, Ken.
Yeah, this is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else any questions about that? It's that whole Cheshire neighborhood. It's all was 2004. Must have been in the annexation special. Right about that time. It's right after the annexation. That was after I'll stop talking. 204. When that was done. Erie. I think what happens, I know what happens, is the last 8-9 years that if the street, if in this case, the service director lives on that street, it's like it gets put to the bottom of the list. You know, it's kind of the parents eat last rule. And so what you'll see, and I think when you get down to Richardson Street, you know, Mike's been, no, for a couple of years, and then you go out there, it's like, well, no one else would put up with that. So if you were to associate, well, look at where these places are, that was kind of what I was saying about Fellow.
Yeah.
I have a property nearby. There's a council person who lives across the street on Cherry Street. You can't neglect those. So Erie, go drive it. There's There's talk in the office that we'd restore that as brick, because there's a bunch of brick exposed there. That was Nick was saying. That's not what that's costing that. But that's, I guess 209, I don't know what to say about that. Walker, it's been a long time. It's outside of a couple residential properties. That's a pretty nice street that you can tell the people who live there deserve it. Bueller, I'm about not passionate about that, but that'll get me in trouble for saying that. I guess it's real bad on the east end. And the logic then is followed up by I said uncle, and the discussion was they're gonna do the whole neighborhood. And what I'm hoping is that what we've done to the contractors before is do 2 blocks here and then 2 blocks over here. And when it comes to milling it, you get I'm sure that the paver gets a real kind of good price on that. And then that's reflected in our bid. So my hope is by having, again, the Cheshire neighborhood, those 2 side-by-sides, Beery and Walker, then Bueller, Beechwood, Elmwood and Bender, that's all one neighborhood. Same thing goes on 1st and 2nd Avenue. I don't want to go on in too much, but the stormwater projects that are on their way to those streets, they're a few years out. And I don't think we'll look too foolish if I think we have 2 more to build before we really get into tearing out 1st Avenue. So the one this year really is a big outlet between 1st Avenue and Murray, about where Ernie and Shelley lived a long time ago. One of the girls lived those. Yep. So underneath there is where that sewer is going to go discharge into, so across, under those residences, or between them, and then cross Solder, the railroad track, and down to the res, so that's this project, this year's project, $760,000.
All the way through to Cody?
Yeah, and then over the succeeding years, they'll tie in the streets as you go east till 3rd Avenue drops off there, and then that'll go through that ditch by the Pete Younker's old place. I know you sort of know that neighborhood in your mind's eye. In any event, I go into that detail to say I don't think paving 1st and 2nd Avenue will make anybody look stupid in 3 or 4 years. If you go out there now, it's one of those, well, I don't know, I'll pick up I don't know who the councilman in this ward is, but you better get on the stick. I mean, it's just not in good shape. And
there's a lot of traffic on 1st Avenue.
Yeah,
Heavily traffic.
Yeah, and then 2nd is especially bad on the east end of it, and a little bit of discussion about should we go all the way to Dawson. It's like, we're going to look cheap and stupid if we just go back to Walnut or Smith. And
I would say Erie is one of the, Erie even is one of the more heavily.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's condition and average traffic. But 1st and 2nd, there's a big decision to be made about how far and what that sewer looks like as we go into the numbered streets. But I'm inclined to try to drain all of 1st, either take it to Dawson and bring it to that pipe that we're building this year. But to just do the north end of that is, I don't know.
Are you thinking 1st Avenue from Harding Way all the way to the end, or just from?
This paving is,
yeah.
On the storm project in a few years, there's a natural peak, and I'm not the engineer, but I want to handle all of that water. I think if you only handle the northern part, the people have every right, Smith, Walnut and then Smith, people south of Smith, it's like, what the heck happened here? I thought they were putting in the storm sewer. It's like, man.
Yeah.
We only put in half of it. That was the part that didn't help you.
Back
Yeah.
to Bueller, Tom.
Yeah.
These people are gonna take over out there, they're gonna be using a lot of traffic for truck traffic through the backside.
Well, you know, I hope we can put that project together. I hope that project can.
It hasn't happened.
Nah, there's more
Tickled me
detail.
to hear
Huh?
about it. It tickled me to hear.
Well, I think
about
it's
it.
good, I think it's a good thing,
Yeah.
and you don't want, if you get, I'm not a fisher, you can imagine me fishing, I can't sit still in the boat, so I'm not, but you know, you just have to, I think, be patient on that. I don't think we've landed them or lost them, to be honest with you. But I guess Bueller's really bad now, and
It's getting down there. You put more traffic on, it's not gonna get any better.
And there were some whispers, some talk about some housing development out there. Bender and the properties just to the east. So anyway, I don't want to go too long. And then, see what else is on there. First and second, if you go, just go out to Miami, Ottawa, and Oliver. We'll feel a lot better about those streets. You go out there now, you can't be proud of their condition. So I had this idea, without going on too much longer, we're gonna pave the parking lot where the splash park is. We'll be proud, we might even stripe it if we have the money. And then you go on the side streets around, and it's like, what is wrong with these guys and gals, you know? So I think it's necessary, it's needed, and it's necessary to pick those up. Oliver, Ottawa, Miami. There's side streets that connect Third, Hensley. So anyways, that's that. Richardson, Mike, everybody out there, I think, suffers when the councilman has the right mind to, you know, let other people get their streets done, but it's in pretty bad shape. 96. It's been a while. I have gone on. I don't want to spend the South Columbus one, but we've done blocks of that, and each time we do one block, like out in front of the post office, you look to the next block, it's like, again, what these guys have blinders on? So I don't know exactly what to say, but that's one of the one block segments that are pretty much overdue.
Columbia Gas over the years has done some repairs on their infrastructure. They don't have any that you know of, anything planned that as soon as we.
They're killing me, man, and no. I mean, we've tried over the years, I wouldn't necessarily, they come and go kind of in a way that suits their plan. And we've not spent a lot of time, but we've, I think, given up on trying to have project coordination. Like, you're gonna be on these streets, okay, we won't pave them now, and we'll come in afterwards. Makes too much sense?
Yeah, it's a little disheartening to see, you know, new blacktop and cutting into it.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, we had the whole Harding Way episode with a couple water breaks.
Yeah.
It is, it's like when your teenage kid dents your brand new car. So if you've not had that experience, then I hope you don't have to, but haven't been there. So. Okay, so that is, so that's kind of the list. What else needs to be said? I'm in an urgent, I'm always in a hurry to get stuff done, because if you don't have a sense of urgency, it just butts us along.
Well, I think we should all get out and drive around and look at this stuff to make sure it's okay. I'm sure it is. I've been on them streets quite often, so.
Right.
I never see too much traffic, but Redwood's kind of rough.
Yeah, and I don't even know, 202, it's Riblet from Dawson to Richardson. I guess it does go there,
Yeah.
from the side of the Head Start That old property, yeah.
Carter property there, I believe.
We'll have to go drive back and forth to run up the ADT. Two more things, just a thought.
Oh,
Nikki had mentioned, we hired a firm, can you remember the name of that rated the streets?
Oh, American Pavements, I think.
Two things about it. One is that they use a methodology that I'm comfortable with and how they rate and rank them. It is more driving and observation, and then in the judgment of the person who is experienced in rating, then they rate and rank the streets. Okay, it's not going out with any kind of like you see on TV, ground penetrating radar.
right.
You can analyze the streets that way. I don't think we get that much more out of them. That's the first thing. The second thing is that this company has as, I think, part of their business, part of their, maybe their more profitable business, is they will sell you pavement management alternatives to paving. So they'll come back, they'll rate and rank them, they'll say, these streets, you should chip seal, not chip seal, that's not what I meant to say. You should crack seal these streets. And you need to do them now before the pavement drops in rating. And so it gives you a better target on where you do preventive maintenance. Okay.
Say they would go through and check all these streets out.
They would check out all of them now.
I mean, they
Huh?
don't do this, they do the whole town.
Yeah, they do the whole time.
Okay, well, but they give you a rating like this street's the worst.
Yeah, they do. That's exactly
Yeah,
right.
that's
And
what
it's
you're
been a handful of years, Ken, that we did it. Nikki suggested, should we bring them in before we do this year? It's a kind of a good idea.
Yeah, I think so.
But do you remember how much it was? That'd really test your memory. It's not free. I think it's $10,000-12,000.
Oh, that's not bad.
And then they want to sell you, there's a lot of, they almost make you smile, the elaborate nature, but chip seal and double chip seal and crack seal and fog seal and a whole bunch of preventive maintenance techniques. So,
With this project, it's gonna be this summer, or is it gonna go towards fall?
that's it. So that gets to whether or not we should go ahead and have them rated and ranked, kind of put this over here, and then see how good we were at scoring them from worst to first.
Oh,
But that's what that gives you, is a list of all the roads, worst to first, and then a suggested pavement treatment based on what their score is. We used it for a few years. It's probably pretty dated now. We didn't use it this year, and I don't believe we used that as a template last year.
Could we know something more about what it's gonna cost by next meeting, maybe?
Well, I think this is what it's gonna cost. This is, if we do this.
No,
then-
I know
yeah.
that is, but I mean.
Oh, we'll let you, it doesn't have to be that long. We can send you what it
Okay.
was and we can get you a quote. I was kind of, it would slow down bidding this.
Oh, okay. That's
Two
not
pieces
good.
of info, I got 2 pieces of info tonight on everything. Recently in an issue 1 meeting, the Public Works Commission meeting, 17 counties, I think. It's a big area. There was a discussion about the price of these infrastructure projects going on. The county engineers, who many of them had bid their work, had testimony that they had gotten pretty good bids and seemed not to experience that price spike. One of the county commissioners who had a local paver, we don't have a local paver, was told that they had a certain amount of liquid asphalt that they had on hand in a tank, and everything was being bid at the money they had in that. And when that is empty and they go to refill it, that's when you'll see that
Increase.
price spike and the liquid asphalt that you see at the gas pump. Having said all of that, I don't think we can get this thing to market either way before June or July. It's a horrible time to bid local projects. Unless we bid them and have a start completion date that anticipates the fall. So think a little bit about that. Maybe a few days ago, I said, we gotta have this and we gotta get this scheduled to sell. Probably not hurt much at all, although the unit cost will likely go up later in the year when they've gone through their inventory of cheaper liquid asphalt. Jokingly say, hell, we don't get any of that in our pavement anyway. They just put some pixie dust on and roll it out. Anyways, on that category, not to say we've been shortchanged, but our pavers don't make their asphalt except when Bucyrus gets the contract. They make it, lay it down. These other guys and gals are at the mercy of the asphalt manufacturers. We've not had anybody do quality control at the asphalt plants on our behalf. And so this year we'll likely hire an individual who has a really strong reputation of looking out for the interests of the non-ODOT public customers. So we've had the jobs that we've had that we haven't been, super enthusiastic about. I don't believe it's the paver that has been at fault. It's been the stuff that they put in the back of the truck. It's, get out of here next kind of thing. And so we're going to have a QC person there that represents. And I'll be in trouble of people who come into my office to ask me what I meant by that. But I think just having this person there, the word on the street is they know when she's there and you get what you paid for. And you might not. We don't know. So awesome. Anyway, that's everything and more than you wanted to know about paving. We will, you can't pull that number up, can you, without digging? Yeah, how much we'll contact them. I imagine the price will be different, and we'll feed back to you. I suspect that might be, it would be interesting to match this off of what they think. And the last thing, I promise the last thing, Ken, I'll say, is that we are going to have, last year we had $25,000 that we spent with the paving contract to do that little spot paving. There were just a few sections. We're planning on, so that's why I don't want to strip all of the paving appropriation, of spending more like $75,000 on small sections that are especially bad. I'll give you an example that sticks out in my mind: the intersection of Gill and Church Street. It's like, you guys have paved all of the main line, if you will, and it's like, you don't drive through the intersection? It's like when ODOT only salts the intersections during what the hell, So the intersection is de-iced, but the rest of the roadway isn't. So we have, in that one, it's the most prominent. So you can think in your mind's eye. Project that is not on here that probably could be is Payne. Been on Payne lately, East Payne. Pretty bad. And so we're going to propose to spend a lot more on cleaning up some of those sections.
What is the average that the liquid asphalt lasts?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, around here, let's see here, somewhere between I actually am pleased by this. You got projects, or you got
Like from
streets that haven't been done
1997.
18, 19, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're more, sorry about that, we're more let them till, drive them till the tires fall off, kind of. But, so if you get 7 years, different way to answer that question, so, is that when you do paving with the state issue 1 money, public works money, they'll give you a useful life of 7 years. So like trustees, county that want to do a paving job, they can only, they can, there's a formula that 7 years doesn't give you as many points as if you 10, 12. But that 7's probably a good number. Nikki, when we first came in office, there was some debt that they incurred on Cherry and Grove and Orange. I think that was 10 years that they borrowed for that, and those streets we have patched the segments of since the street that the utility folks have chewed up quite a bit is Cherry. On a list of it, it'll be interesting to see if we rate and rank them where Cherry comes in at. Payne, Cherry, or some other, just sort of ones where the whole street, the whole block, if you will, isn't a mess, but there's a few sections in there that need cut out. We're not set up to do that kind of spot paving. That's not our niche as far as our department goes. Anyway.
Tom, would I be on the line to say, if you can find out if that figure would be 10 to say 12, 13,000, am I on the line saying if you can get it done for what we had before, close to it, let's get it done before. Just don't get trouble and drag our feet.
I have no objection to doing that.
If you want to, just let us know what it costs.
Well, we'll feed that back to you. It won't require council action.
Okay.
It won't be $50,000, but we can let you know.
Okay.
And I don't know, I may regret it if the prices if you look at, Mayor, if you had did that in May or April, you'd have gotten this price, but you had to dig around and bid it in September and look what you did. I don't know. You're always subject to that sort of
You never
second
know,
guess.
maybe some of these streets could be fixed for pennies compared to thousands.
Well, that's true too. Yeah,
Always.
I agree with you there. And the trade-off at this point is if we were to go ahead and bid it and say, now we'll rate and rank and we'll see how we guessed after the fact. We're going to be like right into the headwind of the bidding. So all the big state jobs will take precedence. We have a big state job they're gonna crowd up some of the supplies. So.
Yeah.
Although that'll be perhaps later. Anyways, well, we'll get these rated and ranked. That was a good idea that Nikki had 2 days ago. Was hell-bent for destruction, hell-bent for construction. And maybe we slow down a little bit and have a stronger basis, a more objective basis.
Okay.
See how it measures up.
Okay, is there any other business tonight? Carrie? Eric, do you have anything to say? Or Nikki, is there anything you could add, anything? Okay?
No, sir.
Well, our next meeting date will be May 12th at 7. Can I have an adjournment motion, please?
I will make the motion to adjourn.
I'll second that motion. Thank you all for being here.
7:44.
I'm run back over there. I know the priests saw me leave over there.